Why you should not be ashamed of English mistakes? My story. I want to start this story with something honest. I was once terrified of speaking English. Yes, the same person you see today, confidently guiding others, once sat quietly in the. I want to start this story with something honest. I was once terrified to speaking English. Yes, the same person you see today confidently guiding others once sat quietly in the back classrooms, avoiding eye contact, heart racing whenever it was time to speak up. My fear was not because I didn't know English. I had studied it for years. I was not because I didn't want to speak either. I desperately want to. But one thing stood in my way, my fear of making mistakes. Growing up, English was not the language spoken at home. We had our beautiful mother tongue, rich with stories, traditions, and warmth. But slowly I realized that English had power. It opened doors, it gave people confidence and opportunities. So I began learning enthusiastically. At first, I memorized grammar rules, made flashcards, read books, and even copied down, perhaps from English newspaper. And yet, when it was time to speak, my mouth felt dry. I would think, what if I say it wrong? What if people laugh? What if they think I'm not smart? This fear became my shadow, following me through school, college, and even into my first job interviews. The turning point, I mistakes that changed everything. I remember it clearly. The moment that changed my mindset forever. It was during a meeting at work. We were presenting a project to an international client. I was nervous but determined to contribute. When it was my turn to speak, I confidently said, "We are discussed about the project." Immediately, someone corrected me. "It's we are discussing, not discuss." For a second, I wanted to shrink into my chair, but then something surprising happened. The client smiled warmly and said, "Don't worry, I make mistakes in my second language all the time." That sentence hit me like lightning. Here was a successful person in a powerful position, openly admitting that they too make mistakes. Over the years, as I coached learners from different backgrounds, I noticed a beautiful pattern. Almost everyone, whether I beginner or advanced learner, had the same fear I once had. What if I make mistakes? And do you know what I tell them? Native speakers make mistakes too. They mix up words, they forget grammar rules, they stumble and correct themselves. But they don't stop speaking, and neither should you. A message to you, the English learner reading this. If you are ever felt nervous, shy, or embarrassed because your English mistakes, I want to remind you, you are brave for learning a new language. You are strong for trying something challenging, and you are growing with every word you speak, even if it's not perfect. Learning of love mistakes, from that day on, I decided to change my relationship with mistakes. Instead of learning them, I welcomed them. I started speaking more even when I knew I might make errors. I asked questions without worrying about sounding perfect, joined English speaking clubs, interacted online, and even started recording videos. of myself and speaking in English. Each mistake I made taught me something new. Slowly, my confidence grew. The birth of English online coaching. I realized that I was not alone. Thousands, maybe millions of learners across the world were hiding their voices, just like I once did because of the fear of mistakes. That's why I created English online coaching. I wanted to build a community where people could learn English without fear, where mistakes were not punished but celebrated as milestones. Our motto became mistakes mean you are trying, and trying means you are learning. A message to you, the English learner reading this. If you are ever felt nervous, shy, or embarrassed because your English mistakes, I want to remind you. You are brave for learning a new language. You are strong for trying something challenging. You are growing with every word we speak, even if it's not perfect. Perfection is not your goal. Communication is every time you try, every time you speak, write, or listen in English. You are improving even if people correct you. Smile and say thank you. I'm learning because you are. My biggest mistakes and my greatest lesson. Let's try, and you will be already try this. Let me share my last story with you. A few years ago, I gave a speech in front of an audience of 200 people. I accidentally said, "He have a good idea." Instead, "He has a good idea." I didn't notice, but later a kind listener pointed out. I laughed and said, "Yes, even teacher make mistakes sometimes." And do you know what happened? The audience clapped louder because they related to me more. They saw I was human. Since that day, I have worn my mistakes with pride. They remind me how far I have come and how far I can still go. In closing, mistakes is your superpower. Mistakes is not your mistakes. So next time you feel embarrassed about an English mistakes, remember my story. Remember my mistakes are proof that you are learning. They are bridge between rights you are and where you want to be. And most importantly, remember that you are not alone. I made mistakes. Native speakers make mistakes and everyone make mistakes. What matter is that you keep going. Don't why you should not be ashamed of English mistakes. My story. I want to start this story with something honest. I was once terrified of speaking English. Yes, the same person you see today, confidently guiding others, once sat quietly in the back of classroom, avoiding eye contact, heart racing whenever it was time to speak up.